Hello and welcome to Just a Little Bit, and it's brought to you in part by Destination Sistrunk, where it's all good in the hood. We're coming to you live, Broward County Cultural Division and Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you've been following us, you know Just a Little Bit is just a little bit about the news that is happening in black media across the country. And we come from the NNPA and other black media. Today we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the West Side Gazette. Just a little bit. The CDC has given green lights to eviction despite the pandemic. That's a very interesting article. People are losing their homes and their jobs, and the CDC has given them the green light to evict them. How cruel can you be? The next thing is COVID-19. Here in Broward County, we had an opportunity to talk to the medical examiner, Dr. Craig Malik. If you want to find out anything how the disease or a pandemic are affecting people, one of the ways is through death, analyzing and going back and see how it has affected the body. And so one of our reporters, Marcia Mullings, had the opportunity to sit down and talk to Broward County's medical examiner. Very interesting article also. And then today, there was a situation down at the African American Research Library where we had Desmond Meade and the Florida Restoration Right Coalition out in all of this inclement weather to talk to folk about, even though your right to vote has not been restored, there are still things you can do. As well as one of the interesting points, a local barber, Jeffrey Colley, whose family has had the 27th Avenue Barbershop for over 55 years. And Jeff, as I was getting my hair cut today, Jeff and I had a conversation. And so Jeff is on the front page of the West Side Gazette this week. Please pick it up and read his story. The incidents of domestic terror when it comes to voting. Would you believe that there's another jerk that tried to or had plans of kidnapping another governor and holding them hostage because of their stance on the mask and voting? Now, I do have my mask, so don't take it for granted, all right? Now, again, as it pertains to voting on the West Side Gazette, and these are our recommended choices for the election. Please pick up a copy today and check out our choices. There's a sister who sold over 26,000 comforters and pillows through her business. Read about her in the West Side Gazette. Ice Cube. You all know Ice Cube. Ice Cube has been catching hell from individuals about his stance on his plan to present. Folks wanted to just make it exclusive to the Republican Party, but that's not so. He also presented it to the Democratic Party, but the Republicans are one of the ones who want to act on it immediately. Now, don't be fooled by that. Ice Cube's plan is not all that inclusive. I commend the brother. He's doing a good thing. However, that plan should include all of us. Our Vice President, Joe Biden, the candidate for president, wrote an opinion piece in the West Side Gazette, and the title of it is "My Plan to Lift Every Voice in Black America." I commend Mr. Joe Biden on his opinion piece. However, the only thing that stands out for me in that plan is the fact that he said he would make the first black female Supreme Court justice. When you have a plan, Mr. President, you should have a way of instituting that plan. Please include that in your plan. The Lift Every Voice was from a prayer, and this plan is not the prayer we need. It's inconclusive, so let's make it happen. Welcome back to Just a Little Bit. And we normally have two segments, but we're going to combine the two into one. We normally have the 40 on the 40, which is 40 seconds of Black history. And then we have our Sankofa moment, reaching back in the past to bring some stuff to the future. Since this is and election time, I wanted to talk about the first black person in America to vote. That person was Thomas Mundy Peterson. He was born October the 6th, 1824, and he died February the 4th, 1904. Mr. Peterson, God rest his soul, created a path for us to follow. But here lately, we seem to be distracted or even disenfranchised from participating in a right that's due to us. Our lovely state of Florida, believe it or not, was one of the most worst states when it came to instituting voting for people of color. As a matter of fact, if we were to look at the 15th Amendment, which was used to keep us from voting, the simple word in that, it says that the right to vote cannot be denied because of race. They, in all their infinite wisdom, instituted ways to get around to that. One of the ways that Florida did it, believe it or not, was through what you voted on and how you voted. The people that be had black people to use tissue paper to cast their ballot on. Now, once they cast their ballot on tissue papers, they stuffed the ballot boxes. It was easy for them to go through the boxes and find out who voted on the type of ballot that they voted on, and they threw those ballots out. Another way was that Florida instituted the multimedia box scheme. There were 8 boxes. It was called the 8-box law. And they played on the fact that black citizens were not educated to that point. Not that we were not educated, but we were not educated to the trickery that they were using. Do you know that the state of Florida had a strictly white primary? You could only vote in the primaries if you were white. Yep, that's true. Now, anyone could disseminate from that if you couldn't vote in the primary, how in the hell are you going to get to the general election? Not only that, here in the lovely Sunshine State, there was a black minister in Jacksonville who attempted to register to vote in 1944, and he was told, "Nah, boy, you won't go to jail, but you will be killed. This is Florida. We don't allow in to vote here in the Democratic primaries." My lovely state of Florida. And then Florida was one of the states that had the poll taxes. $2 poll taxes. Now everybody had to pay it. Black folks suffered the most. We didn't have the money, so we were subjected to not being able to vote because we couldn't pay the $2. And then them good old white people who wanted the white people to vote, they paid for them to vote. So buying votes is nothing new here in the lovely state of Florida. Okay, now another interesting fact, and we're going to wind down here. Florida had the second largest amount of hangings, only to Mississippi to be ahead of them here in this lovely state of Florida. The last thing I want to leave you with as it pertains to Florida happened on Christmas Eve night in 1951 when a bomb was placed under the home of Harry T. Moore and his wife. They were the NAACP presidents. He and his wife were killed, and no one was ever arrested. So there you have it. And you mean to tell me that you will allow a little rain to stop you from going out to vote? People, let's be for real. If you don't vote, shut up. And welcome back to Just a Little Bit. Now, this is a part of the show that I get a chance to laugh and have a good time with, because it is growing our voices. This is the segment where we get a chance to talk to our youth and allow them to talk back. And a lot of times we are surprised at the talents that our youth have, and much more so how engaging they can be. So join me, if you will, welcoming to the stage Miss Randy Mobley. What's up, Miss Randy?
What's up?
And how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Very well. It's a pleasure. I was just going over your little brief bio, and I see here that you are a lover of art, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a broad imagination.
Yep.
So what are you doing, Miss Randy?
Now I try to focus on writing books because my family would want me to interest myself in more than just art and singing and dancing and all that kind of stuff that I usually do. So,
ooh, excuse me, all of that, the dancing and all that, the singing too.
Yep.
Okay, keep going.
Mm-hmm. So, my family came up with this project that I have to make at least 3 books about different words that could help me when I'm older.
Oh wow! You creating books with words that can help you when you get older. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that, Randy?
I think it's pretty fun. It's really something that I used to do when I was younger. I used to write like car books, like really short, small films and stuff.
Excuse me, small films and stuff like that. Wow, Randy, you did all that in your head? You know, you had an imaginary friend too?
No.
No, okay, tell me some more about this book. These books. Mm-hmm.
So, I came up with 2 characters that both had friends, and they had the same problem that they figured out in the story. Mm-hmm. So the one I brought is her name was Matilda, and she had a problem with respect, and I'm not sure what the other one is.
That's okay, Matilda, Waltz and Matilda. Okay, let's put it up. Let's see what you got here. Okay. Come on now, you got, who is this?
Matilda.
How the Madness Began. Mm-hmm. How did the madness begin?
So,
oh, look at you. Who is this person here?
That's me.
That's you? Wow. Okay. Randy B. Mobley. What's the B for? Beautiful.
Brielle.
Oh, wow. Brielle?
My sister came up with it.
That's okay. We have a Brielle too. That's my granddaughter's name.
Ooh.
Yeah, but come on. Tell me give me some more on Miss Matilda. What is she like?
So she has problem with telling the truth. So in the morning, she would be like eating all the cookies, and she'd have this cute dog, and she'd be like, "Oh no, I didn't eat the cookies. The dog did it. The dog did it."
Oh, that's Matilda. Mm-hmm. Okay, come on.
So further on in the story, she found out that she shrank because of how much she was lying and being mean to other people.
Wait a minute, hold up. Shrinking Matilda? Okay, come on. Mm-hmm.
So she got really small, and she found a kid that was also going through the same thing. Mm. So when they both found each other, they became friends, and they started to figure out what they needed to do to be back in their regular size. Mm. In the middle of the story, she was walking outside because they already went through the plan of saying, "Oh, what we need to do is say what we've been doing and fix it." So when they went outside, Matilda was the first one to step outside, and as soon as she stepped outside, a huge ant just rushed at her, and she fell back. And the boy that she was friends with, he laughed at her a little bit, and then they started to express what they were doing.
Okay.
Into the sky, and then both they were regular size.
Okay. You know, listening to you and your character, Matilda, and what she was experiencing from a therapeutic standpoint, and what you're doing is that she's owning her behavior. And by owning her behavior, she begins to receive the rewards of owning it. Have you experienced any of the things that Matilda
No.
Okay. That's a great thing. So no. All right. So how are you dealing with this COVID situation?
It's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in time where I felt like I was kind of sick, and so I had to go get a COVID test. But thank God it wasn't positive, it was a negative. And now with the COVID, I try to get out and ride my bike around the neighborhood a few times and walk outside, but that's sometimes during the week. And if I can, I try to just get out with my mom and go get like sweets or whatever. We try to get out
Wait a
as
minute.
much
Now
as we
you
can.
said you wouldn't like Matilda, and you mentioned the sweets. Do you have a dog too?
I used to. I
Okay.
had
Okay.
three dogs, and we had to give them away because my grandmother was moving,
Okay.
and I want a cat or a dog, but my mom is kind of afraid of those, so I can't get a pet right now.
Okay. Okay. You know something, Randy? It's a pleasure, and I really would like for you to come back. You know, you got a lot within you, and I can sense that. If you had one thing that you would like to leave to perhaps encourage some some of your peers, what would it be?
I'd say if you're going through a tough time and you're thinking, "Oh, it's all me," you shouldn't say, "Oh, why me?" Because as soon as you get into this problem, it's not going to take long to get over the fear or whatever is going through your head right now. So if you're going through something, just take a few deep breaths, take whatever comforts you, and just chill for a little bit until you can get back on the right track.
Oh wow! Take a couple of deep breaths and chill. That was good. Thank you, Randy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Welcome back to Just a Little Bit. And in this segment, What's Up, we have a very distinguished person, super attorney, Mr. Quentin Morgan, who is, how should I say this? He is a Martindale Hubbell AV preeminent attorney. And that means that the brother is bad. He does a lot of work in the community, especially as it deals with our youth. He was involved with the Urban League and that whole young movement that they have created. He's also involved with the 100 Black Men of Broward County. So let's welcome to the platform Mr. Quentin Morgan. Yay! Good. Well, Quentin, should I call you Attorney Morgan? Can I call you Quentin? You know, on this segment, what can I call you?
You can call me Attorney Morgan, Quentin. Some people call me Q. So
Okay.
It all feels on how you feeling that day.
Okay. Well, I like Q since I'm an Omega man, so I
I
like
understand.
that. But you are the epitome, or you're getting to that part when it comes to jurisprudence and an attorney. So I'm gonna call you Attorney Morgan.
Appreciate that.
Okay, and it's a pleasure, you know, for you. Well, I'm honored that you came out in this inclement weather that we're experiencing. I mean, all of these buckets of rain falling from the sky, and you still thought it not robbery to come out, and I want to thank you for that.
All for the kids.
Okay.
All for the kids.
Now that you mentioned that, what are you doing, Quentin, aside from all your other accolades, man, from the Urban League and the other TJ Reddick Bar Association and all the other stuff?
Well, specifically right now, I'm the president of the 100 Black Men of Greater Fort Lauderdale, and we are all about mentoring the youth. So this Saturday, we have an event where we're speaking to several of the Black male candidates running for constitutional offices here in Broward County. As you know, we have candidates running for public defender, state attorney, and supervisor of election. So as part of that discussion, we want to be one of the organizations that stand up for Black men and Black boys. So as part of that, we're going to have a town hall discussion with them, not about their candidacy, not about the issues that they're running on, but about the issues of Black men being more involved in the political process.
Oh, that's cool, man. Let me step back a little bit. Quentin, where are you from, man?
Originally, I'm from St. Augustine, Florida, West Augustine, 2 times for West Augustine.
I was about to say, where is that place, man?
I'm a country boy at heart. So, I grew up in St. Augustine, went to University of Florida, go Gators.
I didn't want to bring that up.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
You got a litany of stuff that you do for the alumni, the Black Alumni Association of the University of Florida. I read all that, man. But go ahead, come on, attorney.
and then I came down and started working here in Broward County and got involved immediately in the community. Primarily, my practice involves with local government representation. So I'm with the law firm Gore and Sheriff, Duty and Nesro. So we represent a lot of municipalities and a lot of public agencies throughout South Florida. So I'm involved in the local government arena from a policy standpoint and from a legal representation standpoint, and representing these kids to make sure that they are seen, heard, and represented.
Wow, man! Attorney Morgan, you have a lot. You are entrenched in the community. You're touching young folk lives. You're young yourself. Is there any perhaps political aspirations on the horizon for this up and coming professional?
At this point in time, I don't have those aspirations, but a wise man said, "Never say never." So I won't close the door on any opportunity, but at this point in time, I don't see that for myself.
Okay. Now let me ask you this: what prompted you to get so involved with youth, and especially Black male youth?
As a Black male myself, obviously, it's very important that these young men in this day and age see men like ourselves being pillars in the community, being upstanding men, doing the business that is positive. Because one of our mottos in the 100 is what they see is what they will be. So we try to show them positive influences, positive role models, which is why we're having the event on Saturday to show them that, hey, you can be involved in this political process. You can reach the highest levels of political office and still be a Black man and true to what all that entails.
Okay. How can a person get involved, not only from the participant standpoint, but if a person wanted to come, a Black man wanted to join the organization, how can they do that?
Well, our intake process is pretty meticulous, not as meticulous as some organizations that I'm sure you went through a little bit more than what we put people through. I won't go there.
I dare not say.
I hear you. But they can email me at info at 100blackmengfl.org, and we can get that information to them.
Okay. Now, and that's for the for the young men as well as the adults.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this: what other areas of attention that the 100 gives to those young men?
Yeah, that's a great question. So our program focuses on mentoring, and we mentor through what we call for the future. So we focus on mentoring, number one. Then we talk about education, not teaching them what they learn in school, but teaching them how to navigate the education system, which is something that's very important for our community, as you know. And we talk about some things, health and wellness, teaching them the importance of proper health, proper grooming, proper techniques of, eating. We teach them how to handle themselves when they're dealing with young ladies, for example, because they're all young men. I personally have a daughter, and I want her to have a suitable young man to court when she gets to that age. So we also talk about financial literacy. So that's one of the important pieces where, every year we talk to these young men about these subjects, and they go off to college and come back. You get that return on that investment that you put into them and say, hey, Mr. Morgan, hey, other mentors, what you guys taught us during that program really helped me out during my first semester in college. Or, going further in their life, they understand that, there are certain things you're going to have to sacrifice in order to get the things you want later on in life. So we teach those guys those types of things.
Okay, and teaching those guys the points that you put out there. How in your life did you have a relationship where you were groomed, to so to speak?
Not in the way that we are grooming these young men. You know, I had my father as an example, who I saw go to work every day. So I took that internally. We never really talked about those things, but you know, as I said earlier, what they see is what they will be. So I took that as a great role model. We also had other members in the community that, you know, went out of their way to help out the young men and the young ladies in the community, so that we wouldn't be standing on the street corners and doing things we shouldn't have been doing. And if someone chose to do that, everyone know they were raised in the appropriate way. So that's what we have to do, is raise up these young men in the way that they should go. And at some point, they're going to have to make a decision.
You mean to tell me y'all had corners that people can hang out in St. Augustine?
We did, actually. We still do. I mean, at this point in time, I've been gone for a while, so I can't do what I used to do, because they don't know me like they used to know me. So I have to stay home and go visit some old friends now that are, you know, more mature and hanging out at the house versus hanging out in the bottom, is what we used to call it, and things of that nature.
Okay. Well, Attorney Morgan, is there anything that we need to add to this particular segment that you need to get out concerning Saturday or any other events that's coming up?
Yeah, I want to give the information, and I want to make sure I'm very specific. So I'm going to look at the flyer. It's a webinar via Zoom. The webinar ID is 913-1132-5750, and the passcode is 262461. And we're talking about voting and the power behind voting, and specifically for Black men who, as you know, percentages in voting in the last presidential election, let alone the non-presidential elections, was very low compared to our sisters. So we want to be Black men to support our families, support the community, and not necessarily having our sisters, our wives, our mothers supporting us.
Okay. Well, there you have it. You know, if you are inclined to, please check out the 100 Black Men and their Zoom podcast on voting, and more importantly, how to mentor and grow or rear young Black boys into great Black men. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Attorney
sir.
Quentin
E. Morgan.
E. Morgan. Thank you, my brother.
All right, appreciate you.
God bless. Just a Little Bit is brought to you in part by Destination Sistrunk, Broward County Cultural Division, and Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. Just a Little Bit comes to you live on the Sistrunk Quarter, where everything is good in the hood. Thank you.